Wasn't the video amazing? I just love looking at the landforms of nature. And I put that on there because this is our new unit we're beginning today, our new module in our reading book. Now, you were supposed to come by school and pick up your second reading book. It has, yours says my book, mine says Teacher's Pal, but it has a number 2 right there. So you need to grab that book that says my book 2. And if yours is still at school, then you're not going to have a reading book until you come get it. I can't bring it to you. So there's a couple of you who still have your reading book in the office. I've had it up there for a month. Everybody else has come and got theirs, but you're going to need it for the rest of the year. So come get it at school if you don't have yours. And if you don't know who you are, you can ask me in the meet today, and I'll tell you. Don't want to embarrass you by calling your name right now, but there's 2 up there in the office. You need to come get them. All right, so we are on this page in your book. I always want you to follow along with me. So this, in your My Book 2, open it to page 10 with me. Page 10. And what's going to be in your book is on my screen here. So we're going to go through this as we begin this new module, Marvels of Nature. And so I wanted you to see a few in the video as we get started today to kind of get you interested. If I just said, oh, we're going to talk about landforms, you'd say that was going to be boring. But landforms are not boring, are they? They're really cool. And that video made me want to go see, was it Finley's Cave in Scotland, and see all those little those little columns of rock and that are shaped like a hexagon, is what I'm trying to say. I want to go see that and go inside that little cave there and hear the waves crashing against the rock. That would be beautiful. Here's a nice landform here. We see these little rocks that have been weathered and eroded, and so it looks like some of the ones that were in the video. Well, we start off each module with a little quote, and this quote's by Nancy Newhall, and she says, "The wilderness holds answers to more questions than we yet know how to ask." What in the world does that mean? The wilderness holds answers to more questions than we yet know how to ask. So what's that saying? What do you think it means? Basically, the wilderness is so full of information, so many new things to see, that we don't even know all about it enough to ask about it. We don't know enough about it to ask all the questions there are to ask about it yet, because there's so much to learn. So it's hard to ask a question about something you don't know, right? About something you've never even heard of or never even seen. So get outside in nature. Gosh, we've been stuck in our houses this winter, and through Corona, I'm just ready to get out in my yard, plant a garden, and ready for Corona to be over. I like to go up to the Smoky Mountains and hike. We live near one of the most beautiful marvels of nature around, this Great Smoky Mountains, most visited national park in the United States. So yeah, get out, enjoy nature. I hope this module that we're on causes you to have some questions about nature and causes you to want to go see things yourself. There's parts of the world that I've never seen. There's parts of the world that I have seen that maybe a lot of people have not gotten to. I've gotten to see Scotland. I got to go to Scotland and see the rolling hills of Scotland. It looks a lot like Tennessee. I've got to go to England and France and Belgium. I've been to Paris and I've been in London. But I've never been to some parts of the United States. I've never seen the Grand Canyon. I would love to see the Grand Canyon. I've never been to Yellowstone National Park. I would love to see Yellowstone National Park. So these things that we have in the world, we live in a great place, but it's also fun to go explore places. And so think of questions about our world and go answer them. Get outside and explore. Let's go on to the next page here. And our essential question that we're going to be asking ourselves this module is, what makes Earth's natural wonders exciting and unique? So what makes all these landforms, these things that are on Earth, they're natural things that are on Earth, these wonders of nature, what makes them so exciting and what makes them unique? Well, we've got to get curious videos, so let's listen to it, and then we'll get right back to the book.
Delight in the amazing marvels of planet Earth. Your spin around the globe begins at the scenic and noisy Niagara Falls. This isn't the highest waterfall on Earth, but it is the most visited. You can see it in two countries at once. It's on the border between the United States and Canada. Now it's off to the southern hemisphere and the Great Barrier Reef. It may look like a landform, but billions of tiny coral polyps built this massive reef system off the coast of Australia. You can see it from space. It stretches over 1,400 miles and supports all sorts of life. Whales, fish, birds, sea turtles, 500 species of seaweed. People are working to protect this wonder from warming oceans and pollution. Now meet mighty Kilauea, found on the big island of Hawaii. At its peak lies a lava lake known as Halema Uma'u, said to be the home of the Hawaiian volcano goddess Pele. The grumpy giantess Kilauea has been erupting for over 35 years, making it one of the world's most active volcanoes. While some volcanoes spew giant clouds of ash into the sky, others erupt violently, shooting lava far and wide. But the fiery lava from Kilauea's crater mostly streams down the rocky landscape into the ocean. This causes the sea to boil, releasing hissing clouds of steam. Deep in the rainforest of Sumatra grows the largest flower in the world. A Titan arum can reach 10 feet and only blooms every 7 to 10 years. Now that huge flower is beautiful, but boy does it stink. And it's supposed to. It smells like a dead animal, so flies and carrion beetles love it. The bugs help the plant to reproduce by spreading its pollen from one stinky flower to another. There you have it, just a few of planet Earth's natural wonders. What other fantastical marvels are waiting to be seen?
All right. Well, there were some more cool things to see. What about that stinky flower? I don't know about having a flower that stinks. I'd rather have one that smells good. Well, we've got some vocabulary here for today. Remember, on the first week of the module, we have 2 stories. So we're going to read a short story today that has these 4 words. Let's look at them, and then we'll look at some pictures of them too. Scenic. Scenic is something that is scenic and has beautiful scenery. The scenic cliffs towered over the beach. Landscape. When you look at a landscape, you're looking at the area of land around you. The landscape of a forest is thick with trees. A canyon. The canyon's a deep valley that has steep sides. He felt dizzy as he looked down into the canyon. And landform, notice landscape and landform are different. Landform is a natural feature such as a mountain on the land's surface. So landscape is the land around you. Landform is a specific feature like a mountain. The tallest landform in the world is Mount Everest. Let's look at some vocabulary cards with these words. And we'll come back to that. So here is our first word here, scenic. Isn't that a beautiful scenic, something that's scenic? A beautiful scene, I should have said. That's a root word. Scenic is something that has beautiful scenery. Makes me want to go to the beach. The next word here is landscape. Landscape is when you look at a landscape, you're looking at the area of land around you. Look out your window. What's the landscape look like where you are? And a canyon. Maybe like the Grand Canyon. A canyon is a deep valley that has steep sides. There's a river running through this canyon, isn't there? And the last word is landform. Landform is a natural feature such as a mountain of a land surface. Natural feature of a land surface. There's a nice cold icy mountain, isn't there? All right, let's move on. And we're going to skip that page. And you get on page 16 and 17 in your book. Make sure you're there now. And this is just a little quick story to get us going this week called 7 Natural Wonders. And they're not all landforms. Some of them are, but some of them are not. So 7 natural wonders. A wonder is something extraordinary. It's a marvel. The world is full of wonders, unusual places with amazing landforms. 7 of these natural wonders are unique. They're known as the 7 natural wonders of the world. So let's read about these. The first one is the Grand Canyon. Arizona's Grand Canyon is more than a mile deep and 200 miles long. Did you know it was that deep? More than a mile deep, 200 miles long. The canyon offers spectacular natural views. But its colorful layers of rock aren't just breathtaking to look at. The layers give geologists valuable clues to our planet's past. Look at this one, Paracutin. This natural wonder literally rose from the earth as people watched. In 1943, a Mexican farmer marveled as the landscape of his farm changed before his eyes. A volcano grew from his cornfield. It reached 1,000 feet in just 10 months. Can you imagine being out in your garden, in your cornfield, and a volcano would just start coming up from the ground? That would be pretty creepy, wouldn't it? So what happened here in Mexico with Paracutin? Whoops. Let's go up here to page 17 now. The harbor of Rio de Janeiro. Maybe you saw this in the movie Rio or in the Olympics a few years ago. The harbor of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil is the world's largest deepwater bay. Majestic mountains fringe the shoreline, providing scenic views. There's one of our words. The vertical contrast of towering peaks to golden beaches to deep valleys below is quite dramatic. So you've got this high peak and you've got the beaches, you've got the water. Really beautiful. Now, look at this. Have you ever heard of this? It's an odd word to say, isn't it? Aurora Borealis. Maybe you've heard Aurora Borealis, called the Northern Lights. The Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights, illuminate the night sky above the North Pole with a natural light show. Charged particles collide with gases in the Earth's atmosphere to create the colorful spectacle. Imagine looking up at the night sky and seeing green or red or purples or blues. All these colors look like they're moving through the sky. That would be neat to see. Victoria Falls. Victoria Falls in Zambia, Africa, is one of the world's largest waterfalls, stretching over 5,000 feet wide. A thick mist billows over 1,300 feet above the falls. The mist gave the falls its original name, the smoke that thunders. And then Mount Everest. The peak of Mount Everest is the highest point on the planet. Tectonic activity created the mountain long ago, when two huge plates deep within Earth's crust crashed together. The collision pushed the land above the plates higher and higher. Today, only the bravest adventurers dare to climb to the top of the world. And the Great Barrier Reef, we saw that in the video. The Great Barrier Reef stretches more than 1,000 miles across the waters off the Australian coast. The skeletons of tiny sea creatures called coral polyps form the reef. The reef is one of the few living things on Earth visible from outer space. All right, let's take a look at, not that. Well, take a look at our text here, at text features. I want to go back and just think about text features for just a minute. You know, we've looked at text and graphic features several times. And so we see in this little story right here, this little short story, we see several of these. We've got a graphic feature. I like the graphic features on this because it shows us, if you notice, it's color-coded. We've got the little blue is the Grand Canyon. It shows you where on this map of the earth each one of these places is. So if you look in your book, so you want to know where Rio de Janeiro is, it's the red. It's down here. You want to know where you can see the Aurora Borealis? It's up near the North Pole. Where's Victoria Falls? It's down here in Africa. So the graphic features are the map with the color code, but also we've got a picture of each one. So do you want to actually see the Grand Canyon? Well, there it is. And there's Paracutin, and there's the Great Barrier. It's a picture of the Great Barrier Reef. So we've got these graphic features. What do these graphic features help us do? Well, they help us understand. They help us visualize what the text is talking about. And it's more fun to, I enjoy reading text with pictures, don't you? Or maps or these kind of graphic features. Graphics are like pictures, right? So they help us understand what we're reading about. But not only are there graphic features in this text, but there are text features. So what are some of the text features? Well, we've got, in this text, we've got this title. We see it's bold. It kind of looks 3D. It makes it stand out for us. This text actually gives us a definition of wonder. We actually have a little bit of a definition, a little bit to describe what a wonder is for us. And then how is this text divided up? It's divided up into little units of information. And just like the map is color coded, and these little dots are color coded, they've color coded the text to match the dots so you can see where they are. So each text for each little section, we've got the title is 7 Natural Wonders, and we've got these 7 little subheadings or a little heading over each little paragraph that shows us what it's talking about. So it's divided into little sections, little headings that are color coded, and obviously they're a little bold print and they're a little larger than the text in the paragraph itself. So, and then I want us to go and look at a couple more things before we get done today. So we're moving on from our story now into our phonics and decoding. And so these are the kind of words that you're going to have on your spelling list this week that we'll be working with. And these words we're looking at this week have these 3 sounds. They end with a, or begin with a, or have a k sound in them, just the K sound. K. And then NG, what does that sound like? Ng, ng. And the qu, the KW sound. And there are multiple ways to spell the k sound, including K, CK, and CH. We'll see a couple of those. Look down here. Character. That's not character, is it? It's character. It's the k sound. The letter N stands for NG when it appears before a K. That's a weird thing to think about, isn't it? Skunk. Think about skunk. This N right here, if you just say skunk, you can't hardly say it without a g sound, can you? Skunk. Stunka. Skunka. That doesn't sound right. It's skunk. You say the ng before you say the K. So anytime you've got an N before a K, it says ng. That's weird to think about. Of course, we have some words that end with NG also. Excuse me. But anytime there's an N before a K, it's going to have that ng sound. And the letters QU stand for qua also, like qua, queen. So let's look at these words. So we've got the skunk, that NG sound, skunk, qua, quart, topic. We've got the k sound. Chicken. So we've got the k sound in the middle with the CK. School. There's a CH that makes the k sound. Think. Now this is that N before a K. So it's we say thing. Think. It's hard to hear, isn't it? It's that, but anytime there's an N before a K, it's got the NG sound. We don't think about that. That's weird to think about. Chorus, we've got a CH that makes the K sound. Luck, a CK that makes the K sound. Risk, just a K making the K sound. Heck, tick, we've got 2 C's making the K sound. Where are we at? There we are. Broke, k, broken, K making the k sound. Blank. Now here's that NK, blang, blanket. So NG sound there before the K. Pick, nick, K sound. Pack, K sound. QW, KW sound. Qua. Rocket, k sound. Tank, it's that NG sound before the K. Tricky, CK, making a k sound. Static, a C making a k sound. Qua, KW, sequence. Stick, CK making the k sound. Lock, C and CK making the k sound. Thankfully, that's that N making the NG sound before the K. Qualify, KW sound. That care starts CH making the k sound. Carrot, k sound there. Okay, so let's look at the sentence. Rick, CK making the k sound. Like, K making the K sound to do his homework. K making a K sound in a quiet KW sound room so he can think in making the NG sound about the questions. QU, Kate making the KW sound. All right. So that's the decoding. That's the phonics behind the spelling words this week. The K, N, and Q sound. So let's look at our spelling words. See if I can make them a little bigger. There we go. All right. So as we look at these spelling words here, we've got these words: risky, blank, track, question, topic, pocket, monkey, junk, equal, ache, public, attack, struck, earthquake, picnic, banker, electric, blanket. Scroll down a little bit. Mistake, stomach. Oh, there's a CH making a K sound. Make sure you pay attention to that one. Youngster. There's the NG sound in that one. Quaver, attic, and slingshot. You might want to pause the video and jot down these spelling words so that you can make a 100 on your spelling test this week. Okay, so there's our spelling list. Now, today you are going to be working on a little vocabulary assignment for our story, these vocabulary words we looked at today. And then we'll wait till tomorrow to start any spelling practice. But I want you to look at something that's on your slides here. On this last slide, you have 4 options. You have to pick one of these, and you have to do this. So I'm going to give an explanation. So I'm just going to use number 4 as an example. So you cannot use number 4. I'm going to use it. You have to pick 1, 2, or 3. I'm just using number 4 as an example. So what we're doing for our grammar part of our ELA lessons this week is we're going to be writing paragraphs, typing paragraphs. As I was looking at your data from the ELA benchmark, you did really good. Your scores improved in every area of ELA except for one, and that's writing. And I've not had you do much writing, so we've got to work on writing a little bit to practice that just a bit, so that you can improve your writing scores this next time. So as we think of that, what we're going to do today is we're going to take, and you only have to pick one of these. You don't have to pick all 3. You have to pick one, and then I want you to read each little phrase, and I want you to think of what would be a main idea sentence that these would be details for. Well, what you have in each one of these is 4 details. They're not really sentences. They're just details. So I'm going to do number 4 for you. So it says surveyor, farmer, general, first president. Well, who was our first president? It was George Washington. So let me go over here to my document. You'll have this assigned to you to turn in today. And I went ahead and I just put as the example these 4 words that I saw on the list: surveyor, farmer, general, first president. What I want you to do is, where it says topic sentence, I want you to use those 4 things, and I want you to write a topic sentence. So you can call this a main idea if you want to. But our topic sentence is this. It's got to include, or got to be about these things that are on the list. So what could we say about these 4? You just have to think. Use your brain. My topic sentence is going to be this, because these are 4 things that George Washington did in his life. So I'm going to say George Washington. Did I spell that right? Nope. George Washington had many jobs during his lifetime. All right, so simple enough, right? because these are 4 jobs that George Washington had during his lifetime. So my topic sentence is going to be George Washington had many jobs during his lifetime. So come up with the topic sentence from whichever list you pick, 1, 2, or 3. Then you've got to do your paragraph. And I'm going to start my paragraph with my topic sentence. You've got to type it again. Your paragraph has to include your topic sentence. So we indent our paragraphs. George Washington had many jobs during his lifetime. Okay, and then I've got to go back and include these 4 details in my paragraph. He was a surveyor in his early life. He also enjoyed farming and growing crops. General Washington commanded the troops, the Continental Army, during the Revolutionary War. He is best known for being our country's, spelled that wrong, first president. Okay, so there's my paragraph. So I've included each one of these 4 things in my paragraph and my topic sentence. So George Washington had many jobs during his lifetime. He was a surveyor in his early life. He also enjoyed farming and growing crops. General Washington commanded the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War, and he is best known for being our country's first president. Simple enough, right? So you've got to take these 4 details, create a topic sentence, and then write a paragraph, and then you'll turn this all in. So let's go back and look at the choices again. Build a sandcastle, ran in and out of the waves, explored the tide pools, roasted hot dogs over a fire. Think about a topic sentence for that. That's not hard to think about what you would be, where you might be vacationing if you did these things. Warm sunshine, water, fertilizer, keep free of harmful insects. What kind of thing might you be doing if you need to make these things happen? Might be growing something, huh? How about number 1 up here? Build a nest, lay eggs in the nest, sit on the eggs, gather food for hungry babies. What kind of animal might do these jobs? Yeah. So come up with a topic sentence for one of these. Remember, you only have to pick one. You don't have to do them all. So pick one that you think is the easiest for you to write about, and then do what I did on my document here. Okay. Make sure you got your topic sentence and your paragraph. I'll have this laid out so you'll remember exactly what to do. Okay. Well, it's kind of a longer lesson today as we've gotten this module started. So thank you for listening. And I want you now to get started on these assignments. So today, remember, you're going to do a vocabulary assignment just real quick with those 4 words we looked at today. And then I want you to do your paragraph. Okay, we'll be doing a paragraph every day this week. Make sure you get them turned in and don't get behind. See you later.